Hey guys, welcome back to Rocket Gyan, my fellow space tubers. We are again here to witness the launch of the Falcon 9 carrying the NROL-108 mission, yeah. And to be fair, this was scrubbed yesterday or day before, yeah, day before yesterday because of a high pressure, a slightly higher pressure in the second stage. And now we are here again to witness this mission, and this will be most epic one because we will be witness the landing on the landing zone 1, which is basically it will the first booster will land again on the land and not on the drone ship. So it will be very cool. So SpaceX as a company is a rocket company capable of making such a revolutionary rocket with human space flight, international space station docking, and everything you can imagine, the even going to the moon. So you can see the one package of aerospace company which can do everything, as well as the satellite business is also going on with the SpaceX, that is the Starlink. So now talking about the Falcon 9 here. So hi Veena, hi David L. Uh, hey Rocket Gyan, love your stream. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I love you all to come here and chat with us and being with us so that we can interact and learn more about space, rocket science, and more. Okay. So Falcon 9 rocket was the or and you can say is the also the first orbital class rocket capable of reflight, and now it is right now the first and only orbital class rocket which can reuse when going to the orbit. So yeah, it's a very good thing. 101 total launch. This will be the 102nd successful, and 103 launch, which means if you take all the launches, then it's a 103rd launch. Talking about the Falcon 9, you can see here it's a two-stage rocket, and nothing complicated as the number of stages, because it's just a two-stage rocket. One stage to boost up the payload, and the other stage up to the ma you can say brink of the atmosphere, and then the upper stage is used to circularize as well as stay in orbit. So it's a very minimalistic design, to be fair. So yeah, the payload to low Earth orbit is 22.8 tons in its expendable configuration. Expendable, what do I mean by expendable? It's just that it won't be reusing its any of its parts. So when it does not reuse any of its parts, so its payload capacity is around 22.8 tons, which is very, very, very huge. It compare it's, you can say, not exactly, but very close to Delta IV Heavy launch capability. So yeah, that's what it is. So the height of this thing is a 20-story building. You can say total height of everything is a 20-story building. So yeah, SpaceX is fond of making bigger rockets. So that's what we have. Talking about the first stage itself is a cool thing because it has 9 model in 1 day engine, and one rocket had a great failure with the number of rocket engines, the Soviet N1 moon rocket. But SpaceX has this capability of managing excess number of engines, and SpaceX view the more the number of engines, more is the capacity of success, because if any of the engines fails, then the other engines can compensate for that. So SpaceX does not have any issue with the number of engines because the Falcon Heavy has flown around 2 to 3 times, and in that there they have around 28 engines. So number of engines does not scare SpaceX. Okay. And now the thrust at the sea level is 7,607 kilonewtons. Talking about the landing legs, these are used to land at the drone ship or at the landing zone 1. Today we will be landing on the landing zone 1. Then the second stage is a has a vacuum optimized Merlin engine with the nozzle extended a bit further because of you can say, why do we have a bigger nozzle in the second stage? Because we want the pressure coming out of the nozzle to be equal to the surrounding pressure, because that's what gives the greatest ISP for a rocket. So bigger the rocket engine nozzle, the more is the ISP for a upper stage. Okay, that's the thing. Then the interstage has the grid fins, which is used for aerodynamic guidance. And then the payload and the fairing we will be using, and they won't be using the Dragon. Obviously, this is a uh, satellite mission going to a geotransfer orbit. So yes. Well, talking about the Merlin engine, it runs on RP1 and locks as its fuel and runs on a gas generator cycle with its and that is evident from this mini rocket engine it has. You can see it here, and produces one engine produces 845 kilonewtons of thrust. And uh, when it is landing, the this only one engine is you can say enough to land the Falcon 9, because initially for the entry burn it uses three rocket engines, and then when it is landing it uses just one rocket engine, which is enough to land safely onto the drone ship or to the landing zone. Then talking about the vacuum optimized, the thing with the pre-burner exhaust, it is pumped inside the combustion chamber to lower the temperature of the combustion chamber, and it produces around 981 kilonewtons of thrust, which is huge for our first stage. So yeah, and they both run on RP1 and LOX as its fuel. So hi everyone, it's home time. Thank you so much. Hi Kevin. Hi Venki, please see this. Yes, yes, yes. My name is Priyanshu Rohila, and Iron the Space Explorer. Hi brother. Kevinations, I love watching your vids, lives, and replays. You seem to give very thorough info on what we are gonna be watching. Thank you for doing so, dude. Please keep it up. Thank you so much for that, and hope that you keep on supporting me like this, and I'll keep on delivering. That's what I can say. And yes, those super chats of yours really helps it. So thank you so much for those also. So now we can have a look at the mission profile. Uh, so the mission is NROL-108 mission, and this mission, uh, let's have a look at the mission profile itself. So we have a normal liftoff and the ascent with the pitch maneuver doing here, but with the pitch after that we have a stage separation, and the second engine start one. Then the second engine proceeds to its orbit with the intended orbit, wherever it has to go, possibly a geotransfer orbit. And then for the first stage we will be seeing a different kind of maneuver, because you can see first of all it will perform a flip maneuver which will point it towards the retrograde, and then it will relight its engines, because this will cause what they call a boost back burn, and this is used to cancel out all the horizontal velocity and basically reverse that velocity towards the launch site. Initially it is going away from the launch site, so first of all it has to cancel all that velocity, and then again it has to acquire a backward velocity towards the launch site. So that is done here. And then we have the grid fins deployment, and then the entry burn. So this entry burn has two purposes. First of all, it slows the vehicle down so as to enable it to handle the re-entry effects, as well as it performs as a heat shield, or you can say a shield from the re-entry heating, because when this rocket exhaust comes out of the engine, it forms a shield like of thing, which you can see here in the diagram also. And those plasma which is hitting the uh, rocket does not hit directly towards the engine, because this exhaust diverts that all plasma. And then we have the aerodynamic guidance and vertical landing and landing zone 1. So hopefully for this launch, SpaceX will be more focusing on live streaming the first stage landing, because I don't think so we will be having any visuals of this second stage, because it's a classified mission, and hence we can't expect much out of it. So talking about the Falcon 9 first stage, this is a booster has previously launched SpaceX 19th and 20th cargo resupply mission, a Starlink mission, and the SAOCOM 1B mission. So SAOCOM 1B mission was also like this, only a boost back burn was performed and then it landed. So it's a one, two, three, four, fifth launch of this booster, and this is the NROL first launch which has been done on the reusable Falcon 9 booster, and they have just gone to the fifth one, not the second, third, just gone to the fifth one directly. and this is the first launch of the USAF which does not have the static fire performed. For this launch, there was not any static fire which was performed. So yeah. Hi, Louis Smith, and yes, that's what we have. Now, if you have any other question, you can ask me. Until then, let me just see if we have any live stream. Yeah, we do have. Switching over to that. So, guys, as you know, if you don't know, we are here with this mission again because previously it was scrubbed due to the high pressure, a slightly high pressure in the second stage. Although the commentator or the host which was there for the um, webcast keep on stating that the vehicle is in good health, so we can assume that the vehicle was in good health, though those high pressure could be like just a false reading from any of the sensor. Maybe that could be the reason, because that sometimes happens that some pressure readings gets a little bit off, but that is the cause of the sensor which is sensing. That means the sensor was wrong, but there are that's why they have some backup sensors, or kind of a, yeah, kind of in a layman terms you can say a backup sensors thing, which they can from where they can get a true info about the, they say, the fuel tank's pressure. And yeah, but that backup pressure kind of a thing is not like a barometer or something like that, which measures the pressure sensors pressure directly. It measures the pressure indirectly, so they have to, you can say, fetch out some of the data and then do some kind of processing and then have a look at whether it is right or not. So that's why it sometimes takes time. So yeah, that's what we have, and we are around t minus 15 minutes from the launch. And today they have a 3-hour launch window for today's mission, which you can say starts at 9 p.m. 9 a.m. EST to 12 a.m. 12 p.m. EST. So 3-hour launch window is there. So if anything goes wrong, we can expect a thing to, means if there is a cause with the weather, if the weather is not good, then we can expect it to aim for a window which is the last of the window. So here we are. Enjoy the launch, guys.
Pretty good. STS is ready for launch.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
Ten, 9, 8.
Side booster ignition.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. It's Saturday, December 19th, and you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9 awaiting its 9 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. My name is Andy Tran, and I'm a production supervisor here at SpaceX. Today's launch, NROL-108, is for the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. If you've been following along, we did make an initial attempt to launch on Thursday, December 17th, but had a slightly high pressure reading on a sensor in the upper stage liquid oxygen tank, which caused a hold to the countdown. While we did have a 3-hour launch window, we stood down from our attempt to take a closer look at the data. And after further review, I'm happy to report that we are currently go for launch this morning. The vehicle and payload have remained in good health, and at this time, we are tracking no issues. Today's mission marks our second launch with NRO. The first was in 2017. The NRO is an intelligence community element and Department of Defense organization responsible for developing, acquiring, launching, and operating America's reconnaissance satellites, as well as operating associated data processing facilities in support of national security. These sophisticated systems are used to develop military targeting data, support international humanitarian relief operations, and assess the impact of natural disasters. This will also be our 9th mission for national security customers to date. One thing to note, per the NRO's request, we will not be sharing any views of the second stage today. We'll be ending our webcast early around the T+8 minute mark, just after Falcon 9 touches back down to land. And just like Thursday, we have another 3-hour launch window to get Falcon 9 off the ground today. If for some reason we are not able to launch today, we do have a backup window opportunity tomorrow at the same time. So far, we are at T-minus 12.5 minutes and counting. All systems are go for an on-time liftoff. And with that, let's take a closer look at Falcon 9.
Now, currently,
you're looking at launch pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, with Falcon 9 getting ready for launch. Our rocket stands at 229 feet tall, or slightly taller than a 21-story building. Falcon 9 has 2 stages and also uses 2 types of propellants, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on the webcast. The bottom 2/3 of the vehicle is the first stage. It's designed to be reflown 10 or more times with minimal refurbishment in between flights. Today will be the 5th flight for this particular first stage, as you can see by the re-entry set markings on it. At the bottom of the first stage are 9 Merlin engines that will get Falcon 9 off the ground and up to the thinner parts of the Earth's atmosphere. The 2 stages will then separate from one another. The second stage continues to orbit while the first stage makes its way back down to Earth for its landing attempt at landing zone 1. If successful, this will be the 5th landing for the booster on today's mission. It will also mark the 70th successful recovery of a Falcon 9 first stage. As for the second stage, that's what you're seeing on screen right now. It will ignite its single Merlin vacuum, or MVAC engine, about 2.5 minutes into flight. It's this engine that will take the NROL-108 spacecraft to its intended orbit. And speaking of the satellite, it's currently safely enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is that structure at the very top of the rocket. This protects the satellites from aerodynamic heating, loads, and contamination during ascent. Once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing halves while the second stage continues to orbit. For today's mission, both fairing halves are brand new. We're also going to be attempting to retrieve them from the water today using our recovery ships, Miss Tree and Go Searcher. One thing to notice is some unique artwork on the fairing. This was chosen by the NRO because gorillas are peaceful animals but can be fierce when necessary, acting quickly to defend themselves and warn others at any sign of a threat. And like the gorilla, this mission is constantly vigilant and ready to defend its own, demonstrating the NRO's commitment to protecting the United States' warfighters, interests, and alliances. We're coming up on 10 minutes to launch. All conditions continue to be green for liftoff. At the T-minus 38 minute mark, the SpaceX launch director held the go, no-go poll for propellant load and launch. We're currently working no issues on the Falcon 9 vehicle. Falcon 9 also began loading propellant since the T-minus 35 minute mark, when we started loading fuel into both stages and oxidizer into the first stage. Our fuel is a refined form of kerosene known as Rocket Propellant 1, or RP1. Fuel is fully loaded on the second stage and will finish loading on the first stage at around the T-minus 6 minute mark. And as I mentioned a moment ago, our oxidizer is super chilled liquid oxygen. We also refer to it as LOX. LOX is currently being loaded into both first and second stages, and we load it as late as possible to keep it from warming up and decreasing performance. We're also finishing helium loading. As the Merlin engine pumps pull RP1 and LOX out of the tanks, we need to fill this empty volume called the ullage. We use the helium stored in pressure vessels and expand it using heat from the Merlin engine gas generator's exhaust. In about 2 minutes, at T-minus 7 minutes, engine chilling will begin. This is where we allow a small amount of super chilled liquid oxygen to flow past the turbopump inlets, cooling them to avoid thermal shocks when we light the Merlin engines at T-minus 2 seconds. If we happen to have another hold to the countdown today, we do have another 3-hour launch window that could allow us to reload the ultra-cold liquid oxygen and make another launch attempt today. Again, this presumes that we understand whatever caused us to hold the count and can safely proceed with recycle and launch. If we can't launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow around the same time. For the range, everything is looking green and they are standing by ready to support today's mission. For weather, it's looking much better than Thursday with only a 10% chance of violation. All systems are go for a liftoff at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. As I mentioned earlier, the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO, is a joint Department of Defense intelligence community organization responsible for developing, launching, and operating America's signals, imagery, and communication satellites. Here's a closer look at the NRO and its capabilities.
So guys, we are right now T-minus 7 minutes from the launch, and everything is looking fairly good for today's launch comparing to the previous one. The weather is largely good for this one, and yeah, let's see. We get a good lift off for today.
And brought technology to levels undreamt of.
Go ahead, let's go Centaur.
The race to space was a series of firsts, and we were there. We were the first to surveil our adversaries from the high ground of space, literally taking technology to new heights, watching our adversaries, guarding against the threat of nuclear war, and providing strategic advantage to our nation. We were the agency no one had heard of, because we worked in total secrecy. But we've stepped out of the shadows, and we are writing the next chapters of American space technology. We are the National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO, the world leader in our tradecraft, collecting top secret imagery and signals from space. Natural disasters threaten thousands of lives. Conflicts displace millions, and adversaries mount threats. We give advance warning, aid in the aftermath, protect our citizens, and safeguard
RP1 load
the
is
world.
complete and is closing out.
We are the only agency that develops these tools, partnering with the intelligence community, the military, and the best of private industry to drive innovation. We are the leader in space intelligence systems, the NRO. At the heart of it, our people who take satellites from idea to orbit, focusing talent and resources, developing, building, launching, operating sophisticated NRO systems that help us maintain global vigilance 24/7, 365. Small sats made possible by miniaturization, reducing costs and expanding possibilities. Large satellites with capabilities designed to answer our toughest national security questions. Pioneering achievements on the ground, where analysts bring it all together. How do we do it? By investing in the latest research and development, using augmentation, automation, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, employing acquisition strategies to encourage competition, enabling us to work with the industry's best and brightest, like-minded people, committed to technology without limits. This is where careers rise to heights unimagined, where you can take your eyes and ears into space. We deliver, under budget and on schedule, meeting and exceeding expectations, to answer questions yet unasked. We develop new technologies every day and put them to use in record time in the high ground of space. No one can match us. The National Reconnaissance Office, the world leader in intelligence gathering. We are the NRO.
We are just under 4 minutes from liftoff. Falcon 9 is now moving into the final stages of the countdown, and the vehicle remains in good health. Just a few minutes ago, we finished RP1 loading on the first stage, and right now the transport erector is beginning to retract away from Falcon 9 to provide clearance for liftoff. At the T-minus 3 minute mark,
We can see it, guys. It is retracting. You can see it properly retracting now.
Liquid oxygen will finish loading on the second stage, which is the last of propellant loading for the vehicle. At T-minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 is in startup. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers are now controlling the launch countdown. The range continues to be green for launch. The weather is also continuing to look great. As a reminder, if we don't launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern.
But it looks like they will be launching it today, and we will have a beautiful show.
For those of you just joining us, this mission is for the National Reconnaissance Office. The payload today is NROL-108.
And talking about the payload, it has been speculated that this payload is a radio communication satellite for NRO with a very, very, very large dish which will unfold in space. Yeah, that's what we have.
That is condensed liquid oxygen. As that super chill liquid oxygen reaches the warmer ambient air temperatures of Florida, it starts to condense, and that's what you see on screen right now.
T-2 minutes. At 1 minute 53, it was
just a few minutes from liftoff.
It didn't.
A Falcon 9. This is the 26th and final mission for us at SpaceX for 2020. Just heard the call-outs that LOX loading has now completed.
Happening, guys. T-1 minute 30 seconds and counting.
Gas launch closeout.
In about 15 seconds, Falcon 9 is in startup, and both stages will begin to pressurize for launch. And then shortly after that, we should hear the launch director give the final go for launch and liftoff.
Startup, it's happening.
Falcon 9, NROL-108, go for launch.
Yeah, go for launch, yes.
And you heard it, we are good for launch. NROL-108, 30 seconds from liftoff. Let's tune in and see Falcon 9
T-minus 30
head to
seconds.
space.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting. T-minus 20 seconds. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15,
T-minus 15 seconds.
14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Stationary transfer orbit.
Stage 1.
Wow.
Stage 1 chamber pressures are nominal.
So we had a good view of the room camera, I would say. Here we go, guys. And I think so. Here we have a good look at the rocket now. The magnificent rocket climbing up to the skies.
We are T plus 40 seconds into flight. That is a gorgeous shot of Falcon 9. We are in the middle of the NROL-108 mission. Falcon 9 is currently throttling down to prepare for max Q at T+1 minute and 12 seconds. Max Q is where the vehicle will experience the highest amount of aerodynamic pressures.
Falcon is supersonic.
Okay, we have this onboard camera view, and it's look like a
Maximum aerodynamic pressure.
And we've passed max Q. All is looking good with the stage 1 trajectory. In about a minute, we'll have 5 events happening back to back. First up is main engine cutoff. We also refer to that as MECO. This is where all 9 Merlin engines on the first stage will shut off to slow the vehicle down in preparation for the second event, stage separation. During stage separation, the first and second stage will separate from one another. The third event is second engine start, or SES1. This is where the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will ignite. The fourth event is boost back burn for the first stage. And the last of these 5 events is fairing deploy, where we will jettison the nose cone at the top of our second stage. A reminder, again, we won't be broadcasting the fairing deploy at the request of our customer, but we should get audio confirmation of it. We're about 15 seconds away from the first of those 5 events, main engine cutoff.
Do look out for the telemetry, guys. Let's see which telemetry do we get here. The second stage telemetry or the first stage only. Right now it's a complete rocket one, but if we get the second stage telemetry as we usually do, then we can have a look at which orbit it went through. So I don't think so. Here we go, the MECO, and we do have the first stage telemetry as thought. Yeah. And the second stage ignition, and now it is looking really cool with the
Stage 1 boost back startup.
the boost back burn has started, as you can see here. Wow, see that view on the right hand side of the screen. Wow, see this thing coming back down towards the launch site.
Separation confirmed.
Fairing separation has been
And
confirmed.
we just got the auto confirmation that fairing separation has been confirmed. On the right hand side of the screen is a view of the first stage performing its boost back burn. That is a great shot. In a couple of seconds, we're expecting that boost back burn to be ending on the first stage.
And here we go, it has
Stage
ended.
1 boost back shut down.
And there it is. T plus 3 minutes and 20
Gracias.
seconds into flight. Everything's looking great so far. With the boost back burn done, our first stage will be attempting its land landing in just a few minutes.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Guys,
Land landings
the
have a
RCS
number of advantages over water
the
landings.
RCS firing in the right hand side of the screen. It is looking so cool.
Significantly streamlines post-launch processing of the recovered first stage. We'll be able to refurbish boosters right here at our facilities at the Cape, rather than waiting for the drone ships to return to port. And these types of efforts support our future goal of a 24-hour turnaround from landing to reflight. So on screen, both of those views are of the first stage. The left-hand side is a view from the top of our first stage, looking downward, and the right-hand side is a tracking shot from the ground.
So it is now flipping
First
back
stage
towards
makes
the
its
retrograde
descent back
position.
towards Earth.
Acquisition of signal, New Hampshire.
Those periodic plumes of gas that you're seeing, that's nitrogen gas from our attitude control systems. Those help to orient the Falcon 9 first stage as it returns back
And
to
it
Earth.
is now falling back towards the Earth.
In order to land, the
Speed
first
is
stage has
increasing, as
2
we
more
can
burns
see
left.
here.
Next up is the entry burn, where 3 of the Merlin engines will reignite. This helps to slow the stage down as it re-enters the upper parts of the Earth's atmosphere. We're about 90 seconds away from that second burn.
It's very rare that we get a first stage telemetry only. Like for this one we are getting, and it's so delight to watch.
Second stage following a nominal trajectory.
Second stage seems to be doing great. If you've been watching our previous webcasts, usually at this point we have a view of our first and second stages. Again, as a reminder, per our customer's request, we will not be showing any views of the second stage. So for now, we'll be watching the first stage make its returned and eventual landing attempt at landing zone 1 in Florida.
Now the entry burn hasn't started yet, and
Just under a minute away from the
speed is
second
increasing.
of 3 burns. Those, you can see that our hypersonic Griffins have also deployed. Those are the honeycomb-like structures that you see on screen
those
right
are
now.
RCS thrusters.
Those help
from
to guide the rocket back during its descent as well.
And look out for the video feed. I think we will be getting video feed when it re-enters the atmosphere, because this time it is not like very fast going, I suppose. So let's see. And those RCS thrusters basically is used to orient the rocket in space, because those in space we don't have anything to hold on and then orient, right? That's why we use these RCS thrusters to can say have some force. And now the entry burn should start in just a few seconds now. Second stage is not being shot up.
Startup.
Entry burn is starting, and here we go. Speed is decreasing
You
now.
see on screen 3 Merlin engines have relit and are currently slowing the stage down. This burn lasts for a total of 26 seconds.
So this second stage is not being shown up today because the satellite is a classified satellite, spy satellite, you can say.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Entry burn is shut down. Now speed will increase.
And the second burn for the first stage is done.
Oh man, this is...
Next up is the landing burn.
You can see it
about 40 seconds away. During the first stage landing burn, a single Merlin engine will relight and slow the vehicle down for its 5th landing attempt at landing zone 1 in Florida. About 25 seconds later, you can see that we can start to see the Earth approaching as the first stage continues to make its descent. As a reminder, we are ending the webcast after Falcon 9 lands, and we won't be sharing any views of our second stage at the request of our customer.
Hopefully the re-entry effects of that white...
Stage 1 landing burn startup.
Landing burn has started now.
There's that single engine relight. Here comes Falcon 9 for its 5th landing attempt at landing zone 1.
Wow. It's happening. Pinpoint accuracy is the thing for SpaceX, and it is happening. And we have landing legs deploy.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Stage 2 start of terminal guidance.
And landed. Whoa.
And Falcon 9 does it again. That's 5 times for this booster, and the 70th successful recovery of a Falcon 9 to date. Congratulations to all those that have been working on today's mission. As we mentioned earlier, at the request of our customer, the National Reconnaissance Office, we are concluding our webcast coverage early today. We want to thank the NRO for entrusting us with today's launch. A special thanks to the 45th Space Wing for range support, and to the Federal Aviation Administration for licensing support.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Today's mission marks the 26th and final launch of 2020. For all of those tuning in, have a happy and healthy new year. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all in 2021.
Here we go, guys. This was such a spectacular mission we just witnessed with the landing. Such type of landings which happens on the land are always a delight to watch. Also, the drone ships landing are also a very good thing to watch, but these are so beautiful. And as we thought, we didn't get any views of the second stage, and that was bound to happen because the other NROL missions of the ULA, which ULA launches, we don't get any views from the second stage itself. So yeah, Kevin, it's a success. Hopefully it's a success. Right now the landing was success, but it wasn't. The mission is still going on, and let's see what we get afterwards. So yeah, so now finally we are getting some slowing down of the launches. From the past few weeks, the launches frequencies was like in a day or two, but okay, yeah, no, we are not getting no, we are not getting any rest. Tomorrow we have a Long March 8 mission. So this Long March 8 mission of China will be a very cool mission to watch, because first of all, this Long March 8 rocket is a new rocket for China, and Long March 8 is supposed to have a SpaceX style landing in future. So with this rocket, they will be landing in future with the boosters attached. So Long March 8 has two boosters, and it will be landing with the boosters attached in the future. So I'll try to find some stream of the Long March 8, since it's an experimental launch for means the first time. We won't be getting any official live stream from China, but let's hope we get some unofficial one. So I'm trying to do my best. So yes, that's what we are. Thanks Octagrabber. Yes, it was a beautiful landing. You're right, the landing that is beautiful. Okay, so yeah, until then, tomorrow let's do join in for the Long March 8 rocket launch, which is scheduled to happen in about, let me just tell you what's the time. Obviously you will find that in just 14 hours from now. So yeah, do join in for that. And until then, this is Priyanshu Roila. You just saw Rocket Gyan. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.